Folks, Quilly Team here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Football Manager 2017 as Ayr United. As I record this, I had been planning to do mostly 2018 right around now, but I'm not really happy with the state of the beta, so I think Ayr might get a little bit more loving than I was planning. However, it still meant that I actually burned through the first half of the season pretty quickly. I actually went on holiday for a while, played a few games, went on holiday, came back at the start of January for the transfer season, and was pretty disappointed with what had actually happened with the team in between. Not as many wins as I'd hoped, and a lot of the players I considered to be like kind of our key players were clearly not getting played because they were like 60% sharpness, which was a little bit upsetting. Anyway, I decided what I'm going to do is I was going to be pretty brutal with some of the culling of our players, try to trim down our group of people, as well as trying to pick up as many high-quality free transfers as I possibly could. You can see a few people, including Aaron Murrell, who I just picked up actually last August of 2018. It is now, it's actually February of 2019 now in the game, so he's already cycled through. Unfortunately, a free both ways because that first contract wasn't long enough for me to do whatever. But it was sort of sell or release was kind of the thing. We were looking for a lot of players that it turned out we didn't really use quite as much as we might like. Will Nightingale's actually was quite a good player, but we did have to make some pretty brutal cuts. That being said, I also picked up a handful of new players in this transfer window that we just passed here. So you can see in early January of 2019, we picked up 5 new players, including a free transfer from Motherwell, which was actually a great purchase. Each one of these was like 75%. The fans were like ecstatic about it. It was really amazing. A handful of really strong people. A couple things might still get shuffled about a little bit. We'll see what we can do. The transfer window is closed. We still have a lot of people that have been set on the sort of like sell or release kind of unwanted list. So those numbers will still trim down a fair bit as we get to the end of their contract and we're enter the next transfer period. Finances are mostly under control. You can see we're basically like right at our wage budget, slightly negative with the transfer budget. That being said, we did do a big giant sale, change the order over here, of Ciaran Porter over here. Now, he's Irish, and I mean, with like when you're talking about like Gaelic and Celtic and Irish names, they're never pronounced the way they look. This probably like Chris or something, Chris Porter. I don't know. Anyway, this guy probably going to be a fantastic, amazing player, no doubt about it. But he is like sort of midfield, like true midfield winger, which we're really not using in our composition. So I tried to go hunting around for some pretty good offers for him, and in fact found some pretty good stuff. So we got him shipped out for $99K up to $215K, depending on how the deal goes. So that should help our club finances a fair bit. So feeling fairly confident about that. We are still mostly going to be running our pyramid scheme of awesome over here. You can see Niane over here is really strong. If you do a quick little comparison of this fella here, from Mali, I guess, Malian, and we do, what do I want to do? Like a comparison over here, you can see he's considered to be, as a pure striker, a bit stronger than Jamie Thomas even. Very agile, balanced personality. He's 25, so his raw development is certainly going to slow down a little bit, but you can see he's got like that 15 agility, which is good, really good. All green numbers and all the physical stats over here. I mean, nothing like insane, but green throughout it seems to be a really, really good start. Excellent taking penalties as well, actually, which is nice. 12 finishing, 11 first touch. Get the ball to him, he'll get it, and he'll potentially score. Good off the ball, not as high in the positioning, but still overall pretty pleased as punch with him. We've got this Maguire guy, Chris Maguire over here, 30-year-old Scottish fella over here. Look at this value, $155,000. Picked him up on a free transfer. He's getting paid a fair bit per week right now, but we might be able to flip him for a huge, huge profit, depending on how his season goes. 30 years old, again, we're not expecting a lot of development. He's only 5'7", 147 pounds. Just a little guy over here. And he doesn't necessarily have the pace to represent, but decent acceleration, and some really good technical skills. And insane penalty taking, which is something we were always lacking, and now I'm not as scared about going into penalty taking mode over here. Good flair. He's got a good deal of sort of mental and creative aspects over here, and he's got enough technical skill for finishing and first touch and things to do a relatively good job. The fact that his passing is 11 and he's got a decent number of mental skills like the vision and the flair does make him probably really good, well suited to play as sort of a playmaker and different things like that. So I'm quite keen on it. We've got Mr. J. Emmanuel Thomas over here, who actually, there was a chance, a couple other people had bid on him, and he ended up going for us. He's getting paid a fair bit. He's certainly hitting a big chunk of our budget. But again, look at these stats. Raw speed, not so much. Like half decent pace, not the same acceleration, but fantastic balance and strength. Tall as hell too at 6'3". Jumping reach skill is only a 12. His heading's only an 8, but it's still going to be pretty good. Look at this dribbling here. Once he's got the ball, between the dribbling and his strength, and his balance, I suspect it's going to be hard to take him off the ball. So that's going to be very good. First touch 14. You get the ball to him, he'll get it. Long shots 15. So he's going to be trying to power in the ball from further away. Probably it doesn't have the shadow striker association here, which seems a little silly to me. Maybe because aggressive in his lower, just not used to playing in that. At 20 years old, I don't think retraining him to a role is really in the future. But he's quite comfortable playing like advanced playmaker. Look at this flair. Great passing. Like between the first touch, the passing, and the flair, again, he can really sort of tie everyone together. And he's actually quite good at shooting as well. And it's not like the advanced playmaker, which is what he's set to. I don't believe. By the way, how much better is it to click on this than the stupid jersey in FM 2018? Don't get me wrong, though jerseys look cool, but this just feels more functioning like a button. I guess. Oh, playmaker, advanced playmaker does have the shoot less often. If we put him on attack, still got it. Dribble more and more risky passes. You know what? We will put him on attack because it does actually encourage him to dribble more, which he's very good at doing. And he'll still take shots, just less often. What else might we want to give him? I mean, he's comfortable playing the ungaunch, which is dribble less, more risky passes, close down much less. What's his tackling, actually? There's only a 6, so I mean, close down much less. You could just be set as like an attacking midfielder. Nope. Attacking midfielder. That's one thing that 2018 doesn't have, that weird sort of sticky, laggy role selection. Get further forward. He doesn't have the comfort. I mean, the advanced playmaker, I can't deny he does really good there. I will give them the attacking advanced playmaker. And Maguire over here, I will keep him on shadow striker. Finishing 12, long shots 12. Not bad. I think that's very appropriate. The other 2 players that we picked up are currently not in the setup. We've got Sacha Kotic over here, who is a pretty good defensive player. Look at this value, 160k he's valued at. We picked him up on a free over here. Hopefully we can flip him relatively fast. Good jumping reach and heading, like freaking tastic over there. There's a good chance, like, look, I don't want to replace them right away because like Ricky and Tom obviously quite good and they've been playing fantastically for us. Sacha, where do you feel playing? You like playing on the right? Okay, like I'm even wondering like Tony Ralston, if we like rollability is not that high. It feels like on paper he might be a lot stronger. Anyway, I think it's going to be great to have him as a sub. And who was our last fellow over there that we did pick up? Where am I going? Transfer history. Who's the last fellow we picked up? Eddie Nektia. Yeah, what's your deal and where do we have you or not have you right now? Because we should have you because you were quite good. Oh, right, you were another striker possibility. I did sort of like bulk pick up a lot of people. Like, again, that was free transfer. We have to pay them, but 550 is not bad. He's quite cheap, 19. Again, the value is pretty good. We should be able to flip him. Look at these raw stats. Insane. He's like better than Craig McGuffey. He's like the turbo Craig McGuffey. At 19, what I might do is just shove him off to the under 20s right now. Just to keep getting a lot of practice there. He should be a freaking star there, and we'll see what we want to do with him going forward. I think that's probably pretty fair, because I don't think we need just the raw sort of like speed attacking striker. Can you play any other position? You're basically pure striker. Advanced forward, I mean, really good. If we take a look over here, it's advanced forward. I mean, Jamie Thomas hasn't been doing that strong for us at 660. You know what? Let's give Eddie a few chances to play for us, and we'll see how it goes between him and Adama over here. Yeah, we'll see. Next match is at home against Dumbarton. It's actually going to be a repeat of the Scottish Cup 4th round replay over here. That's what we're going to do. Dumbarton is in the Championship League, so they should be a tier below us. We just drew them 0-0 over here. It was a little bit frustrating, but we were trying out a lot of new players. We didn't have a lot of match sharpness on a lot of players. There's still going to be a couple that might be... No, we're pretty good, actually. We've been playing a lot of matches back-to-back, which might make it difficult. I actually like to see like the training view. I feel is like the most informative for that. Oh, we can't scroll back. But yeah, it's been like 2 matches a week for like 3 weeks in a row right now. So people are a little bit worn out, but their sharpness has gone up quite a bit, and the people are getting better. They're getting pretty darn close with our tactics, so I think we're going to be okay. So anyway, that is the plan over there. Let's go ahead and just continue forward to the next match if we can. We actually had a big money match facing the Rangers not that long ago. I believe it was a televised match. Or maybe it was just... No, there's just a bunch of ticket sales. And we made some good money there. So I think we're helping out the club financially a fair bit if we can. If we lose this match against Dumbarton, actually that would be the most disappointing thing ever. Because, again, there should be a lower tier team. We have picked up some pretty mighty players. Hopefully we'll do okay. We've got the game against Partick Thistle left at home, then the Hibs at home. You can see like these breaks are like non-existent. It's just back to back to back to back game. So it's actually kind of handy right now that we have how bad is Tony playing at a 570 or 672? You've got the sub. You don't have the sharpness. I'm still going to start Tony. That's going to be okay. What are you saying? Andy Gigan for Paul Kearney as well. Maybe to start, Andy's doing a 679, and Paul Kearney is playing at a 682. Doesn't really have the sharpness. If anything, we'd start Robbie Crawford. No, I think it's going to be fine. We're going to go with that. I'm okay with it. Yeah, build sharpness and things. Yeah, the fact that we've got so many games back-to-back makes the fact that we've got a super deep squad maybe a little handier. We are lacking a really strong defensive... I think defensive right. Like, Tony Ralston's done pretty good for us, but I think, like, in the actual Premier League, he might be lagging a bit. We'll take a look again there, but if I'm going to be shopping for anyone for the next transfer period, like, this transfer period is closed, but for the next transfer period, that might be the go. One of our fullbacks, like, oh, I'm rendering videos in the background. I'm like, why is everything going slow? Rendering some videos. Okay. Or maybe it's Caleb Crane. Like, the wings, you can see, like, the star rating isn't quite the same number at this particular level anymore. They were great in the Championship League, but they might not quite be up to par. Still, that being said, we should generally be okay. What are my tactics? I should be set to control, actually. I think part of the idea of setting it to counter was because holding a lower pace, because some of the fitness and match sharpness wasn't there. We were getting some injuries, but I think with this team at home, control is definitely the thing. I'm putting the work ball into box. I mean, we'll still take some longer shots, but I think it's going to be okay. Let's see how it goes. If we don't get enough shots on, then we'll go and turn that down. But I've had a lot of matches where I end with like 20 shots on and not enough scoring. So I was running it with it off for a while, but I think we're going to go and put that back. So let's see how we do in the Championship Cup 4th round replay against Dumbarton here. Match preview. Ref is actually very chilled out. We could probably go for the like diving tackles with a little bit more aggression over here. I'm pleased with the team selection. That's going to be okay. We have to give a number to Eddie Nktia over here. He'll be number 22, apparently. Excellent. Good for him. Oh, it's great to be back with Ayr after dabbling a little bit in the other thing. There will be 2018 videos. I might be waiting for like a patch or something or see. I'm probably going to play as Royal Union. But I'm actually taking back my kind of commitment of it. I'd recorded a couple episodes, then the what I don't like about some of the UI episodes, and the first couple episodes turned out to be a lot more spending time trying to figure out and whine about the UI, so I probably will like re-record some of that start or something. I haven't decided yet, but right now I'm quite pleased to be back with Ayr. We are definitely the favorite here. I would be very surprised. I'd be very upset if we didn't win. Apply advice. Hard tackling of the striker, I'm never too keen on. Let's take a quick look at these guys' speed. Nicky Clark, how speedy are you? Very fast, so we're not going to want to mark you. What about Jack McKay? Fairly speedy, not insane. I think it's probably going to be okay to tightly mark you, and we'll just try to close down quickly on the other one if anything goes on there. And yeah, we are the favorite for a reason. I'm going to be quite assertive about this. I expect nothing but a win from this match. And I'm going to stay with the assertive, like, no pressure on you. I expect to see solid defensive work, take control of the midfield. No one's really budging. Quality finishing. I would like to see a little bit movement there. That's a little unfortunate. I do like in 2018 some of the more feedback that you get. I'm going to pause this for a second because I apparently have the audio muted on this. So there we go. All right. So we're playing at home. We've got our black and white stripes as per usual. Some of the condition dropped super fast right away. I'm actually a little surprised about that. Although time, look how fast time is going. Now part of it is I probably have, I only have key highlights on, but still, I can't believe how chill things have been. 4 and 4 in the shots, not too much. Lammy with the throw in from the side to Ross Doherty. Doherty gets to Fraser, who seems to try one of his more typical long bomb shots, but it does just get deflected away. Not a whole heck of a lot going on there. And that's it for the offense. Like, what is going on? Why are things so undramatic? Our striker there did just get an offside. His rating's not too far up right now, but we'll see. It looks like they are going to be able to keep possession. Got 3 people on him. No one's able to go for a tackle. Oh, that's right. I was going to go for get stuck in over here. I'm not too worried about the referee. We've got a few fouls, but I think we're maybe okay. There we go. Fraser, I think with the next interception, gets it to Maguire, to Emmanuel Thomas, who's able to dart past people, gets it up to Niane, who's surrounded by about 15 opposition players. So he knocks it back to Fraser, who's got a couple of passing opportunities in right. Nope, goes left to Emmanuel, who I think is an advanced playmaker, so they're going to try to pass to him a fair bit. Doherty gets put in, back to Emmanuel. I'm wondering if Fraser's a little too far forward with this, and I think that's actually very much the... Oh! Nice pass over to Tony Ralston, who comes in with a shot. Not delivered to it much power. He was a little close to the goalkeeper at that point. It would have been hard to get much of an angle. But yeah, the fact that you're a playmaker, deep line playmaker here with Fraser might not make as much sense anymore. Why don't we go ahead and put him on the role that he really likes being, which is box to box, give him a little bit more mobility. Because right now it's just like they're basically playing the same kind of thing and a little too close together. They're overlapping what they're doing. So we'll go ahead and unleash Fraser because he's not going to have to be relied on quite as much to be the linchpin of the movement. Oh! Yegan was trying to go in for the header, but the goalkeeper is able to just go ahead and grab the ball out of the air. So we're leaving 6-4 in scores, only 52-48 on possession. And we're in control in this. We might want to go with something else somewhere along the way. Hopefully it's not too bad. Ralston clears the ball. Niane is there to pick it up. He's looking for someone to maybe advance it to. A little bit tough here, but he's just holding onto the ball for now, which I guess is fine. Gets taken away, though. Fraser gets it back to him. Niane had moved forward quite a bit. He has an attack. Maybe if we put him on support, he wouldn't have tried to dribble the ball as far forward. Fraser back to Gigan. Gigan to Emmanuel Thomas, who's actually behind. He's actually in the midfield. Niane sends it wide over to Tony Ralston, who can he get it crossed in? It gets deflected, but Ross Doherty's there. Back to Tony Ralston, who's going to... Back to Doherty. Centers it to Fraser. Fraser got a few options closer. Maguire one-times it over to Niane. Niane does go for the kick afterwards, but it does, in fact, go wide. We'll be ready to switch our striker possibly behind. Our rating's actually lower than Dumbarton here, despite the fact that we're leading on shots. Our players aren't quite doing it. There could still be, some sort of team cohesion issues. That sort of thing is entirely possible. Tony Ralston going to send it forward to Ross Doherty, who's very pinned down. I feel like these guys are playing a very defensive play. And, oh! Come on, thank you. Just a foul? No card? Well, this referee is pretty chill, but that is kind of nuts. So I don't know if there's something I should do to, get around this more. I might want to, raise the tempo more, although control is a little higher tempo. Like, when you're against a worse team like this, not leaving them as much chance to respond might be okay. Long shot from Emmanuel, which would have been brilliantly on target, top left corner there. We do have the work ball into the box, but, we're having a hard time getting the ball to the box. We might want to look for more overlap, which is sort of what's happening with Tony, but that's actually what I'm wondering might be the way to deal with some of this defense. If we look for more overlap over here, we're getting in our fullbacks to move forward a little bit more. Could be a little bit risky to push that far forward. But like Crane, for example, who's always quite happy on the attack, let's get him a little bit more explicit doing that. Tony, who's moving up a fair bit as well, but isn't as comfortable being quite as aggressive. We'll leave him kind of at these settings. That's going to be okay. Let's keep going for now. But yeah, our striker's having kind of a bad game. He's pretty comfortable in the advanced forward role, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the best way to use him in our comp. And again, it's a little hard to judge because there's just, a lot of these players are still working out their sharpness is there, but their familiarity with their tactics is still coming. And again, nice interception. Gets it over to Chris Maguire, to Emmanuel Thomas. And Thomas can move it forward and can probably send it up to our striker. Big tackle there. Did trip him, but the referee is, he's not going to go for those dives and believe everyone. Whether or not that was a legit trip or not, we don't know. Nice on-target shot, but very far away. I could just push further forward or something. Obviously that leads, if they're playing kind of a counter mentality, might put in big position for that. Yeah, that is disappointing. I'm going to be aggressive about this. I'm far from pleased. Finally, a little bit of motivation. Your morale's not where we want it to be, though. Come on. Well, if we go to penalties, we do actually now have a lot of good penalty takers. And it will go to penalties. I did not go to penalties in the first match, but here if it ends up 0-0, there's no rematch here. We will go to penalties. Crane with the big cross to Nyane. He's a little too far wide. It would have been really hard for him to get the angle onto the net at that point. And honestly, if he was in any other position, he probably wouldn't have been able to pick up the cross, so I can't blame that too much. Flanagan gets to Doherty. Doherty moves it forward to Maguire, who might be able to do a through ball. Nope. Gets it over to Thomas. Hard to get past the screen here, but again, we've got our wingers in a bit of position. Nyane with actually a great shot, I think, from the, what would that be, the 18-yard line? Is that what it's called? From right about there. I mean, not necessarily in the box, but getting closer, and it definitely would have gone in. It was below the crossbar as far as I could tell if it hadn't been blocked. Back to Maguire, who's going to let it go out so that we get another throw in. All right, totally okay, I suppose. That's going to be okay. Rating's getting a little bit better, still a bit behind. Lots of shots on. We just need to get it in the frickin' net is the idea. Possession's gotten a lot better. Like, we've got these guys very, very, very pinned down now. Emmanuel Thomas to Ross Doherty, he takes the shot. Slightly off target, I'm going to suggest. Just slightly off target. So, wait. Why was our goalkeeper taking the free kick? Whoops. Also, these haven't been retuned for some of these things, for some of these new players. I still don't understand why there's not an auto option for this. Wow, that is super dangerous. I don't know if you should be doing the throw-in. I don't know. You're pretty good at it, but we might want to have you by the net. Pass it before he tackles it away for you. Get back in the goddamn net. Wow. That was clearly just some blind assignment at some point of the set pieces. Goalkeeper out there. I mean, it does give you extra men there, but if they, like, get the ball and they just run for an open net, that would be insane. And this is actually looking very dangerous. Good thing they missed that pass. It's too bad that Ralston wasn't able to just grab that ball. He does physically block it there. Force another shot, and almost an interception. Clark's going to take it. Oh, he was offside. That's why they weren't too worried about him. Okay, not too shabby. About half an hour left, and ticking away quickly. We haven't made any subs yet. Can we get this cleared? What I want to do is, yeah, our striker's definitely not having a great game, possibly because of the rest, the composition. We're going to bring in Eddie and see how he can do over here. He doesn't have a ton of sharpness, but it's going to be okay. J. Manuel is getting pretty tired. Now, if this goes to penalties, Nyane, I think, was really good at penalties, wasn't he? 14. I'm wondering, can you play any other position? You really can't. Penalty taking is a 6. Okay, I've got a crazy idea. Crazy idea is this. We go to a 2-striker setup. Sub you out for Eddie. Let's have you switch over to advanced playmaker instead. Try to get it to the 2 strikers there. And how's your penalty taking, Gary? Should be pretty good, actually. Only an 8. I don't think it matters as much over here. Robbie Crawford is only a 6. You're getting pretty tired, though, with all the running around. It's probably fair to bring out Gary. We'll throw in Robbie. He doesn't have a ton of sharpness, but that's going to be okay. What do you prefer to play as? No, you're quite happy playing box-to-box. All right, and the box-to-box midfielder does run around a fair bit. All right, let's see what that does for us. I mean, we haven't necessarily practiced that formation, but having the 2 strikers a little further up might actually help a little bit in cracking their defense and sets us up a little bit for the penalties if we get there. I'm trying to think ahead and plan. All right, Chris Maguire. Toby Maguire. Ross Crawford gets it, sneaks it up to Eddie. And another great shot attempt, I suppose. Great spell of dominance. I mean, it's really there. Got Maguire taking the corner. Gets deflected away, but Necktie is going to be able to keep it in. I'm going to feel terrible about this pronunciation of Eddie's name here. Tony Ralston boots it quite far forward to Lammy, who's way offside. I mean, header was on target, not necessarily delivered with a ton of power. Probably could have been blocked pretty easily. But that's like the players do instinctively know when it's offside, I guess. Oh, Tony Ralston wins that header to Maguire, who heads it forward. Robbie Crawford gets a hold of it. Excellent. Keeps up the offense. That's going to be good. They were able to set up their defense again. But Maguire with a bit of a poor first touch there, unfortunately. Leading to a bit of a rough pass, I think, that was a bit rushed. And does give up the offense with about 20 minutes left. Oh, Nyani does go for the sideways pass to Eddie instead of just running it up. A little bit surprising. Why is that? I mean, advance forward, I guess trying to get it to the poacher, maybe? Maybe you don't run that well? I don't know. You're having a bad day at 6.3. Feels to me like you could have just maybe run up and tried to take a shot there. Lacking some confidence, perhaps? I don't know. All right, Tony. Get it centered. Andy Geoghegan. And he's got a lot of passing targets. Robbie Crawford, Doherty. Yeah, they've got a lot of people behind us here. To Eddie Necktie. Back to Ross Doherty. Robbie Crawford gets it over to Nyani, who's got a little bit of space for a shot. There was a chance. I mean, 21-6, 60-40 possession. We're on control. Like, we're going for aggro. I could mess around with more of the strategy, but I think that tends to, be bad, because then you get less and less familiarity because we haven't practiced everything. Pass completion rate is 82%. By the way, it's nice in 2017 how much slimmer this window is. Turns out it does have the raw number for the pass completion, but everything is just so much smaller, and your window is more transparent, and it does go super transparent when there's the action behind it. I don't know why they made it so much more bulky in 2018, because it literally doesn't bother me at all in 2017. It doesn't help that in 2018 you do have to have it a little bit lower because of the other... Well, you could move the other bar somewhere, I suppose. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions about why they did certain things in the match UI. Maybe, maybe it's just because it's different and I'll get over it, but I don't like the way you get to the tactics screen. Definitely. I don't know why they got rid of these menus. Nyane, get nice pass to Eddie, who... Was he offside? Was he offside? Maybe he wasn't offside. That is a goal. That is a goal. It's his third one of the season. It's actually the first one with us, because, since joining us. Because, again, he was one with Motherwell over here. I believe he's the guy who stole away from Motherwell. Gets the score in there. Really great. Boosting Nyane's rating as well with the assist, too, which is very nice. Probably look at one more substitution here. You're tired, but you're having a great game over here. I'll probably just do a midfield substitution. No, we don't actually have some good people for that. Never mind. Nikki. Maybe we'll put Nikki on the other side. Sure. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. Good stuff. Finally crack that. It only took 23 shots. 23 shots to get our first goal. I mean, with the possession domination, hopefully it means, and the fact that they've got low shots, hopefully they're not really going to have a chance to counter it. We'll see. Oh, Eddie gets it forward to Chris Maguire. He takes the shot. Oh, beautiful. Just a low rolling ball on the far end of the net. Just like that. Gives us the breathing room to feel very comfortable. Nice little cartwheel there. Which I think I noticed in 2018 for like the first time. I was like, I don't think that was in 2017. Apparently the cartwheel celebration is. Probably just too busy looking and thinking of other things to notice the celebration. Might depend on the mood of the player and different things like that too. Maybe it's an agility skill. Maguire, I can't believe he actually got his foot on there. Gets it to Nyane, gets it taken away, but there's no one really to take advantage of that on behalf of Dumbarton. Back to Nyane. Might need to spread this out a little bit. I don't know. Crawford, because I'm going to say, like, Geoghegan's just there. You could pass it to there and maybe get wider. Nicky Devlin with the run up here. Does keep it in just barely. Gets across to the center. The header for 3! And that is Eddie Necktie coming in. That is, hold on. Who scored the other one? Oh, right, it was Maguire. So that's the second one for Eddie Necktie. And Maguire's got his one. Nyane definitely having a bit of a hardship. But again, he's probably just having an off game overall. 3-0, very overwhelming. We've used all 3 subs, I think. So, I mean, because I was like, oh, maybe we can get someone in for a little bit of a warm-up, but it's basically over. It would be nice, I was going to say, to end this with a clean sheet just like that, and that should indeed be full-time. 3-0, as expected, we should have beaten these guys fairly handily. The fact that it took us, like, 85 minutes to get there, is great. Let's just very nice victory. Well done. There you go. Looking delighted. Wonderful stuff. 77 minutes. 75, 84, 85. Took that long, but I mean, they might have just not had, they're playing very defensive and passively and locking things down, but we probably just wore them out. They may have not had the physical strength to just keep going. We hammered them. He made his debut, getting 2 goals on that. We're getting a little bit of money for winning or playing in the 4th round cup, I suppose. We're gonna draw against St. Mirren. St. Mirren is in the Championship League as well, so we're still gonna be playing against people who are on paper should be a little easier for us to continue to go through. Eddie Necktie does indeed impress for Ayr. 86% pass completion, 2 goals, 1 assist. The 19-year-old striker with no face. Wow. Last explanation linking you with the vacant... What? Do I want the job? St. Johnston is another premiership team. No, of course not. Listen, I'm going to be assertively. Just rumors. There's been no contact whatsoever. And I doubt there will be. But it's interesting. At some point, I could go and just start looking for another job in a higher tier team. I could be looking... Maybe I could get in the English Premier League. It's insane, but it could happen. But I don't have any desire to do that right now. That was excellent. We actually might want to start Eddie here because he's been playing so much better. And in fact, there's that. The other thing is we didn't get any scores at all with this formation, right? All of our scores happened when we went double striker, when we went to a 4-3-1-2. And we have enough strikers. I mean, we've got Jamie Thomas over here. We've got... don't we have one more? Well, Sean McKenzie. New. We got Craig McGuffey. How could I forget about Craig? We've got enough strikers. I think we should go for the 2-striker setup. Now, we still don't have wingers, really, so we can't go for like a classic 4-4-2. But, well, I mean, we've got the 5-3-1 or 5-3-2. That is still a possibility. And over here, if we go and redo this, I mean, we've got... I guess it's not going to rename it. Let's go ahead and just reset this explicitly to a 4-3-1-2. Not the wide. 4 defenders. 4-3-1-2 narrow. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to rename that properly. Yeah. We've got like an embarrassment of choices for the attacking midfielder role as well. I think we'd still want to encourage them to walk the ball into the box. The look for overlap also worked. Now this is a very aggressive, right, idea. Although there's no reason we couldn't play this in maybe a counter one. I think if we went counter, I don't know if we'd look for overlap. Because with counter, we're expecting the other team to be more aggressive, not be as defensive. We don't necessarily need to run our flanks up the same way to score when we've got an opportunity, and we might not want them to be too far forward because it might leave too much of a weakness to the back. So, I'm actually wondering if we abandon the pyramid and we go with this instead. It's not that far different. Familiarity is actually pretty okay. I kinda dig that. And I think that actually might be... Can I just invert these two? Does that work? Yeah, okay. I'll keep the other one there so we remember it. The 5-3-2, I don't think we need to worry about it the same way. The 5 defender back is okay, but we actually don't have that many true defenders, and we have a lot of good forward people. So 5-3-1-2 narrow, like that. So this one here would be the counter. So we have one that's control, we have one that's counter. Still have worked the ball into the box. I don't think we look for overlap in this particular variant, though. Yeah, I like it. We'll still have to tune maybe some of the specific roles. Like this is the default, deep lying forward, attacking forward, regular just attacking midfielder on support over here, which might all be fine. And a lot is set to like automatic, which we could leave there because they're going to use the counter mentality to tell them to be, say, more defensive or more support as opposed to more pure attack. But I don't know. I kind of like to like explicitly set these things and maybe tune some of the roles explicitly to who's going to start it and make some little adjustments along the way. But it's not a bad start. Let me fiddle with that. Our next game is going to be, well, if I am going to dedicate a lot more time, in fact, to the Ayr season, especially now that we're halfway through the year. If we take a look at our schedule over here, like, a lot of losses. This was not me running this. I was just like set it on auto. I came back on January the 1st. We did lose to the Rangers, but got tons of points. Oh, and I was running like a lot of people without any experience. I was trying to like get who used to be our prime players with like no sharpness. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw away the game against the Rangers and just like roll people to like get some experience. Won against Hearts. Losing against Falkirk was very disappointing. This 2-3 game was brutal. And Dumbarton, who we just played against now, losing there, I was kind of upset about. It was an away game, but I'm still kind of upset. And then drawing some away games. Again, that's generally pretty good. Although, if I recall correctly, we were leading against Dundee. Actually, I think they went up 1-0, and then we went 2-1, and then they caught up. I'm not sure. Can we get the score breakdown? Oh, we were leading, and then they scored twice, and then we scored again to draw it up. Okay, I knew it was a high drama game, whatever it was. So hopefully we can keep going forward and do relatively well. Partick Thistle, I think, would be a good one for us. I mean, 2 home games, which is good. I'm still worried about general exhaustion levels because just, again, back to back to back to back. Luckily, we are going to go to a more typical schedule here soon. So yeah, we just did this one. There, and then 1 week, although we'll probably get another Scottish Cup something or other going on. We're not good enough to be able to qualify for the sort of European kind of league. I don't know if it's like the Euros or the European Championship or whatever, because there's like 2 things with the name. Euros once every 4 years, and it's like only like countries, like national clubs. Anyway, we're not qualifying for that, so we're only going to be playing in the stuff that you see here. We were knocked off from the Bedford Club, a little disappointingly, but the board was still relatively okay with it. We have reached the 5th round, so it should be okay. We should be able to beat St. Mirren. I'd be very disappointed if we didn't, so we should exceed expectations, in fact, and maybe do a really good run at the Scottish Cup, actually, because, I mean, everyone we're going to face are going to be people who are, in theory, on our level. I suspect after this is probably the quarterfinals. So, I mean, there's still a lot to do, but we'll see. Avoid automatic relegation is actually only the board expectation. That should be okay. In fact, I'm trying to avoid a relegation battle, but you can see there's not a huge point differential there. If we beat Partick Thistle, I'll feel much, much better. But we still got a long way to go until the end of the season. Games played, 25. I think there's 33 in total, right? Because we fight everyone, or play everyone 3 times, and there's 11 oppositions. So 33 games in total. So we're about 2/3 of the way through the league at this point. And yeah, so we actually might. There's not that many games left overall. I think we'll do every single game as a video over here, even the away games and everything like that. So, because I think it's going to come down fairly tight to see if we will end up, in fact, mid-table, which is our goal for this season. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I will see you next time.